Good morning, everybody. It's Steve with Real Progressives. This morning, we're going to talk about Jeff Bezos and Amazon and how he held Washington, D.C., New York City, and ironically, probably every state in America hostage as he sat there and dangled this measly 25,000 jobs in a city of millions. Dangling 25,000 jobs in a city of millions. It's like peeing in the ocean, okay? But Jeff Bezos, who makes an absolutely insane amount of money. I mean, I think it's like $191,000 for every 5 minutes. Every 5 minutes, Jeff Bezos has managed to financialize his existence to make $191,000 every 5 minutes. I want you to think about that. Consider that your house, how much your house is worth. In 15 minutes, he bought your house, maybe less. Maybe in 1 5-minute increment, he bought your house. It's extremely insane how much capital is concentrated right there in that one individual. How much buying power, how much resources, how much access to real resources, and then holding states that are cash-strapped hostage with the dangling of the prestige of a new 25,000 jobs. Now, don't get me wrong. 25,000 jobs is 25,000 jobs. But I want you to understand something. This goes back to the theory, not the theory, but really the understanding of currency issuers and currency users. The states are forced into this race to the bottom to see who can outfuck each other, to see who can cut the bottom out of each other to bring business in. Well, naturally, Washington, Virginia area, DC's very wealthy area. They can afford to do some things that are a little bit different than the rest of America can. New York City, yeah, I think they can do it too. They're already out there on the West Coast. You start putting this together and you realize that the race to the bottom is going to decimate the average American citizen in ways that you cannot even understand. Well, you should be able to understand, but maybe won't become readily apparent. Because people refuse to understand the role of the currency issuer and they consider the role of the currency user all one thing. They refuse. I mean, folks, I'm not sure whether it is a mental block or whether they've listened to comedians that try to talk about economics too much. I don't know what it is. But one way or the other, they're missing the point that when a state has to cut taxes, cut expenses, cut everything, they literally have no means of supporting themselves. They've got bond holdings and other different things that they've purchased to try and keep them going through rough times. But they don't have the ability to generate their own US dollar. The only one that could do that is the federal government. So by allowing states to compete, by slashing the bottom out of their services to their people, by allowing states to sit there and fight for business. And sadly, Amazon is just but one business. Do you understand me? This happens every single day. Every single chamber of commerce does this. Every single group in America is looking for ways to lure businesses to their state. And it always comes down to cutting taxes for these companies to give them sweetheart deals on land, to sit there and use eminent domain to take away property of the people that live in the area, you name it. And I just want you to think about this. Take a step back for a second and say, okay, why is this happening? It's not just because it's Amazon. I want to be real clear here. This is like blaming the banks for being predatory. This is like blaming all these people that have been allowed by our Congress to do stupid shit. We have allowed unregulated, unfettered, neoliberal capitalism to extract every good thing from our local communities. We have extracted everything. There is no more arts. I mean, kids have to pay money to take art classes anymore. They get it, what, once every 3 weeks or something like that? Kids don't get to go to music class anymore. Kids don't get to go take band. They've got to spend an exorbitant amount of money to rent a trombone or a saxophone or a clarinet. Kids don't get to play sports anymore because they have to pay for it. And think about the poor families that can't afford it. Sometimes there's a stipend, sometimes there's an offset. Most times these kids just end up staying home because they don't have the money to take care of it. And that's just awful.